Good evening, my friends. I want to give you my favorite redirect power move for any time that you feel really stuck or like all of the options are out of your hands in your recovery or in your life. That, well, what do I do now? Whatever it is, whether it's circumstantial or just the process is being really difficult and tricky and it's not budging the way you want to, and you're not sure what your options are left, or you're feeling just very lost, which is to ask yourself in those moments, given the situation, it's two questions. Who do I want to become given the situation, through the situation, because of the situation? What are the options I have? So many points in recovery are points of transformation where there is a very clear edge. Either you rise or you fall. That's it. Like there's no wiggle room. And this isn't true for everybody, but it can be. So if it's for you, it's for you. Sometimes it's just you watch yourself either tank or rise. I know the first time I saw this was when COVID happened, and I felt like everybody on earth had that option. Like some people's lives skyrocketed, so many people's lives plummeted, but there wasn't really a middle ground of kind of just, keeping the same thing. And then we come up on these personal edges of transformation in our journeys. It's the same thing. You rise or you fall. So who do you want to become? Who do you need to be to rise if that's what you want to do? The other question is, what matters still to you, given what's going on, given what's not available? What still matters? If you're alive, if you're breathing right now, what's worth spending your energy on to you? A couple of examples of this from my own recovery. I hit so many points where so much of my journey was just continuing to choose to believe in things that I hadn't yet done, and I didn't have evidence that I would ever be able to do other than the science. I'd tried to act greater than I felt, or tried to stay out of a loop, or whatever it was, for months or years or whatever, and I hadn't done it yet. And I hit this point where I'm like, okay, either I make the insane and courageous choice to believe that I can rise above this trauma loop that's running my life and actually get out of this rut and get my brain into a healthy state, or, and that seems insane and it seems foolish, it seems stupid, to be honest, from on the surface, or I could decide to just give in and be like, yep, that's it. I tried, 3,000 times and I didn't have enough faith to try a 3,001st time. So that's that. And I made the decision for myself that I would rather be a courageous fool than be a depressed, rational person. And that's part of where my belief that there's always a solution, just doggedly believing no matter what the obstacle was, there is a solution. My mind is very small and very puny, and it probably doesn't know what the solution is, but I believe there is one. In the grand scheme of life and the quantum field at large, I believe there are many possible solutions, and I'm going to choose to believe in those things that I don't know with my mind yet, but I believe they're out there, and I'm going to act on that. It came from that. And there were points, I remember the last day in my recovery that I was really having a hard time walking, just around the house even. I remember, and it was a couple years in, like it wasn't at the beginning. It was like I was in an ebb later on. And I could barely walk, but I put on my prettiest sundress. And I think my daughter brought me a flower, or I found a flower in the front yard, and I remember just sitting and looking at the flower and just being like, beauty, that's what matters to me, is beauty. I'm gonna be beautiful, I'm gonna find beauty, I'm gonna look out the window and find beauty. Like, if everything else is taken away, beauty is still what matters to me. And that can be a really amazing way to clarify your value system. But the amazing thing about this is it's not specific to neuroplastic recovery. It applies to things that aren't neuroplastic related as well. And it really brings us back to this principle that your process and your recovery are refining and defining and shaping you. You're not just creating a new life. This process is creating you. Who you become through this is the point. And we start to bring the question back to that. It brings us back into our power, back into a sense of agency, that we have something, that we can do something, that we still have our own attention, our own energy, our own willpower, our own humanity and dignity, that we still have that. Because it's very easy to lose that at a lot of points in this. So that's your invitation tonight, is if whenever you get stuck, ask yourself, well, even the last example I was going to give, I've forgotten about, was I had surgery for my core muscles about a week and a half ago, and my limbic system was nervous. You know, it's a pretty significant surgery. Recovery's been a bear, to be honest. But the day I went in, you know, my brain, I was anxious and had these looping thoughts. And I was like, well, who do I want to be? Like, I chose this. I wanted this. I created this. I want this healing. So, okay, maybe I'm scared. Maybe this feels really uncertain, and it does. But I was like, I want to laugh. I want to be light. This is what I believe in. Like, we all die one day anyways. Like, I want to be happy. I want to be laughing and joking and complimenting people and being fresh and light. And so that was what I did that day. And it felt really good and it went really well. And there was a lot of really beautiful moments I was able to have with the staff and the nurses. And the whole thing went really well. But just managing my own anxiety around it, finding the humor in it all was so liberating to have that access to that. So that's your invitation. I love you guys. And I honor your free choice. Become who you want to be. Become who you believe is worth being with this precious time that you have.